Watch this before you start looksmaxxing. Watch this before you start looksmaxxing. Okay, let's just get into the video. That was not a good start.
One of the most viral trends among young men right now, and it's everywhere. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and entire communities built around optimizing your appearance. On the surface, it looks like
this guy's blowing up. I see him everywhere now.
Or the halo effect, which is a psychological truth that people treat you better based on how you look. So the better you look, the better people will treat you. And let's face it, it is a fact. A fact that led me into my body transformation and even into creating this YouTube channel you're watching right now. So looksmaxxing is productive and effective, right? I mean, it's got more guys lifting, getting lean, fixing their hair, fixing their style, and overall just living a better life. But then you start seeing how far
also another thing, I know I like to stop the video very early, but the guy that you see on the right, I think his name is Clavicular. I don't know how to say his name, but he started taking steroids at 14 years old. Just imagine, you're 14 years old, your body's still transforming, you know, your balls haven't even dropped and you taking testosterone. That is just crazy.
Steroids, peptides, bone smashing, even hardcore drugs to stay lean year round. Because you gotta have that chiseled lean jaw, right? And all of this is still framed under the umbrella of self-improvement. And before we talk about how to avoid the bad when doing looksmaxxing, there's something way more important that you need to understand first. Because if you miss this part, you can do everything right on the outside and still end up feeling the exact same. In the looksmaxxing community, they group it into two categories. And trust me, I didn't know this until doing the research for this video. But they group it into soft maxing and hard maxing. Soft maxing is your normal stuff. Going to the gym, losing fat, getting a haircut, and learning how to dress like an adult, basically. And there's nothing wrong with this. This is basic self-respect. But hard maxing is a lot different. It's taking steroids, getting unnecessary jaw surgery, and again, using hardcore drugs to stay lean. And when you start getting into this realm, it drastically affects how you view yourself and you view others. As people and your own worthiness starts rising and falling based on how you look. At that point, you're not really improving yourself anymore. Do a second of self-reflection, which honestly most men never do anymore, and you'll come to this conclusion. This hardcore looksmaxxing culture is an attempt to
He's doing it on stream. That's crazy. Yeah.
Escape something. Before I explain what that something is, it doesn't matter how good you look when you go to talk to someone with horrible breath. And I have a revolutionary product that spawned today's video, which is Breath Death.
Okay,
you know what? Or who you that destroy bad breath and take your confidence. Crystal breath, which I think is a hilarious rocks, but with mints. And you can
that's a long ad. Wow, that's a long ad.
Powered by zinc, these mints attack sulfur compounds
wow.
in the breath, refresh, zero tubes. Breath, you're not gonna go back ever again. And because Breath Death sponsored today's video,
wow.
just feeling uncomfortable,
wow.
rather the opposite. They look people isn't self-sponsoring today's video. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Looksmaxxing for most people isn't self-respect or even self-love. Rather the opposite. They looksmax because of a lack of it. In hindsight, I can now tell you why I went to the gym at 18 and became obsessed with it. Because those reasons I had is why an overwhelming majority of young men are obsessed with looksmaxxing. I and many start trying to improve their looks because they felt invisible. We were rejected when trying to make friends or have a girl like us. We aesthetically felt inferior, so we started comparing ourselves to others. And ultimately, we were never chosen. So our mind gives us a deal. It gives us a solution that it has concluded to based on its own interpretation of the world, which is looks are everything. The guy in our class that got all the girls and all the respect and looked the happiest, he was the best looking, right? And I or you were the worst looking, and our life reflected that. So our mind concludes, if I just look better, I'll finally be enough. And I'm not gonna lie, for a while it works. And it definitely did for me. I got more attention, more validation, more respect, and for a while I thought I was confident and I felt better about myself. But I can tell you this truth, 7 years after I did all that stuff, this is inauthentic confidence. I talk about inauthentic confidence and authentic confidence in my confidence video, which you should check out after this video. But the reason it's inauthentic confidence is because looks don't heal wounds. Whether you like it or not, when someone disrespected you because you didn't look good enough, a wound was created in your self-image and your...
No, that's facts. I mean, I'm still young, you know, I don't have like a lot of wisdom if you like compare me to other people, you know, but in 17 years, I did come to realize that this confidence that you get from all of your looks and stuff like that is just not real, is what can I say, you know? The real confidence really comes from insights, really doing the inner work and just stuff like that, you know? You may have short-term confidence from doing all the stuff that he's doing right now. I don't know what he's doing, injecting yourself with, okay, whatever. It's just fake confidence, you know? It's way better to create the inner confidence. But of course, you gotta take care of yourself. You gotta, I mean, how do I even put it right now? Working out and stuff like that, in a way, does give you that real confidence, because you basically show yourself that, look, I'm taking care of myself with, okay, you know what?
Identity. When that girl broke your heart and you distracted yourself by trying to look better and make more money, that created a wound in your self-image and identity. And these are not external wounds that you can see, but internal wounds. And you cannot fix an internal wound, aka how you truly feel about yourself and the world, with an external solution. An external solution is how you look, making more money, becoming more successful. Because the truth is, attention and validation cannot fix your shattered identity and self-image. It will not create the peace and relief you lost when you felt aesthetically inferior.
Also, when I reacted to the last video was about a streamer getting shot. This is what almost got him, I don't know if I can say the word, but you know what I mean. He probably doesn't feel too good about himself, and he probably thinks the way to gain confidence is to get approval of other people. That is inauthentic confidence, you know, and because of that, he put up this gangster image and almost got himself, you know, so
for the very first time. So eventually something strange happens. And this happens every time without fail, and I can tell you that. You look better than ever, but you're just as insecure, if not more so. This is a trap that all celebrities fall into, and Jim Carrey actually has a very famous speech about it, where he basically goes over how nothing was enough. Being a one-time Golden Globe winner wasn't enough. Then I'll be the two-time Golden Globe winner, then the three-time. And he talked about how it meant nothing. Because when you put your worth into external value, that worth now becomes conditional. If you gain fat, you spiral, and you gotta go to the gym and run an extra 3 miles to fix it. If another guy looks better than you, you compare yourself to him, and you actually believe he's worth more than you. And if your attention drops, specifically your female attention, your self-image drops with it. One of the more popular Looksmaxxers on TikTok, I don't know what his name is, but he gets so offended when people call him ugly. His origin story, if you want to call it that, actually came from when he went to the bar for the very first time and no one paid any attention to him. And if you watch how he acts now, he's not confident still. And even if you think he is, that's not confidence, it's performance anxiety disguised by a plastic steroid looking appearance. But a performance-based identity is what
what the
plastic.
If this looks back into you, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't want to judge anyone out here, but I mean, this is not Looksmaxxing. This is like looks decreasing, you know what I mean? He just doesn't look like a human.
Steroid looking appearance. But a performance-based identity is what I went through, and I relate to this so much, which is why I actually created a lecture which you have free access to, but more on that later in this video. When you get to the point where you actually Looksmaxx to become more confident, this is when it really starts to affect how you see the world. Men become competitors, women become trophies, and relationships become transactions. Everything turns into who's higher value, who's more attractive.
It's one thing I really thought about lately. It's how weird people look at women, actually. I mean, I used to listen to this guy that you see on the screen right now, maybe 2 years back. We had like a little friend group, you know, and the whole friend group was about self-improvement, Andrew Tate, stuff like that. And now when I look back, this is just, some of the stuff that he says is like not wrong, but majority of the stuff is just very bullshit, you know, and the philosophy, if I can say, that women are like trophies, my bad, it's a very bad mindset. When you really think about it, it's just you connecting with another human. But today's social media makes it look like you need to collect them and stuff, which is just very wrong, very immature, you know.
And who mugs who? Trust me, I don't talk like that, but that's how these Looksmaxxers talk, so just for this video. And what I just described is basically the modern red pill. This mindset doesn't create the love, which is actually all these people and you are looking for. It actually creates pride, fear, and loneliness. And the most painful kind of loneliness too. Because I can tell you, the worst type of loneliness isn't when you're by yourself, but when you're a fake version of yourself surrounded by the wrong people. Because you attracted the wrong people through your fake personality. And the worst part is, when people get into this really bad situation, they don't even realize that they did this. They haven't realized they adopted this superficial mindset, because to them it's just realistic and they learned the harsh truth about the world. Here's the solution or the reframe that'll actually work and help you. And it'll allow you to do looksmaxxing in a healthy, productive manner. There is nothing wrong with being strong. There's nothing wrong with getting muscular and taking care of your body. There's nothing wrong with wanting to improve. The problem is the soil, the rock you're building it on, and why you're building yourself in the first place. Your looks and your body were never meant to be your identity. And when you build yourself off of rock or a healed identity, it stabilizes you, your life, your peace, success, and love in the future. But when it's built on insecurity or sand, it'll enslave you, and the first storm in your life will absolutely take you out. At some point, every man has to answer this question honestly. Am I glorifying myself through what I'm doing and improving, or am I just developing the gifts I have for something greater than me? And if you're smart, you know I'd be alluding to God in this scenario. But when your foundation is built off of self-love and you realize your identity wasn't ever meant to be earned, you actually get better results. Crazy, I know, but this is validated by quantum physics, so it's a scientific fact. And I mean, it makes sense. You're calmer, you're more grounded, you're secure, you're more confident without trying to be. And this whole thing is validated by the universal idea that things come when you stop looking for them. If this video hit a nerve, it's not by accident. It means you already know that you need to do the deeper work first, and then you'll get the peace, love, and success you've always been looking for. No more optimizing, not another external fix. You actually want to heal and get lasting results. That's why I built a free course inside my free community, which, spoiler alert, you can access for absolutely free. It's not about motivation. It's about healing the things that looksmaxxing can't touch. If you want to build your life off of solid ground, instead of insecurity, it will be the second link in the description. And it includes the exact video that heals the ideas I was talking about, the one on performance-based identity. And I've got 2 videos here that allude to this video and you can learn way more from. But I'll see you inside my free community, and I will definitely see.
Okay, that's a very good video, you know. This video was very, very good. I really think whatever he said was just pure facts, you know. Especially this summer, I had to realize it myself. I basically was going out with a friend group every single day, but I wasn't bringing the real me to the friend group, you know. I was always watching those streamer guys. I used to even analyze them, how they move, because they were so charismatic, right? So I kind of did what he did. I basically constructed this inauthentic confidence, and this summer really like showed me the difference between real confidence and like that inauthentic confidence. So the real confidence will never come from external things like the way that I was doing it. My confidence came from me succeeding, if I can say, in acting like those guys and basically being approved by the group, which is just very, very weak confidence. You can break it very easily. You know, one day people don't respond to you well and boom, you down. You are back where you was. Real confidence really comes from the inside. You know, you don't need to put on a mask, perform, or you don't need to look better. In order to be confident, you really just need to develop self-love, which definitely takes work. You know, it's not just, for some people it's effortless. You know, for some people they just grew up in those environments. Maybe they have very confident parents. Maybe they were just like that, I can say, you know. And yeah, that is really the video. I mean, just if you're gonna take away one thing from this video, just remember that real confidence will never come from the external things, you know. The real confidence will always come from the inside. That is the most important thing.